One thing I used to tell people from different countries, you don't have to commit a crime to go to jail in America. America got a long standing track record of exonerations because they will gladly jail you, make up crimes against you, write falsified police reports, find fake evidence, and they will throw you in jail. So, no, you don't have to do nothing wrong in America to end up behind bars. And it's always been this way. Don't forget about our brothers and sisters behind bars during the deep freeze, because, ladies and gentlemen, many of them are suffering behind bars. I'm looking at different articles and they're talking about the extreme cold inside the prisons. Many of these prisons do not have running water or food for these inmates. And being that there's no running water, the, urine and feces are, you know, filling up fast. And the stench and everything in there is bad. So, it's everybody. I think everybody, it doesn't matter where you are. If there's no power and no heat, then you are feeling the wrath of this cold weather for real. People in Texas jails are freezing without hot food or running water. A massive winter storm brought freezing temperatures and widespread power outages to Texas. People incarcerated in jails there were left with no running water, no extra blankets, and no meager food. We're in here freezing to death and starving. This is one of the inmates. Wow. Mm-mm-mm. So this is Harris County Jail, and they were able to talk to some people through HuffPost on Wednesday. Massive power outages has plunged millions across the state into darkness with no heat. While temperatures have dropped below freezing in recent days, officials do not know when power will be broadly restored. Prendergast said that after the power went out in the jail around 2 a.m. on Monday, generators kicked in, but power was restored in a limited fashion. Only one of 5 rows of lights in a dim, they said it's very dimly lit. So if you look up and let's say there's a row of lights, every 5 lights were on, the rest of them were off. So it was still really dim in there. They said the electrical outlets don't work. Cool air is blowing through the vents, and they weren't given any dinner. Nigel Patrick, 37, incarcerated in the same facility, said, they did not eat dinner. He said people did not receive any extra blankets, and they are wrapped up like burritos in there with a single layer blanket because that's all they were provided. On Tuesday night, correction officers gave them 16-ounce bottles of water, and people incarcerated at the facility now must see they have to just use that bottled water for drinking and brushing their teeth. Just a 16-ounce bottle of water. That's it. And washing their hands. Meanwhile, 9 toilets in the facility, which are used by dozens of people, have filled to the brim with urine and feces. It's unbearable, Patrick said on the phone from the jail, speaking to HuffPost. Texas Jail Project advocates, I've been holding my bowels, needing to defecate for 2 days. Wow, that is horrible, which is not a good thing to do. I can understand now. In response to questions, the Harris County Sheriff's Office directed HuffPost to its statements on Twitter, which confirmed that its 3 jail facilities lost water pressure, but said they still had power. The office claimed that the heat was working fine, but the inmates said that's not true. They are saying the opposite. It's cold in there. Okay, majority of the people in jail across the US are being held on pretrial. Do y'all know that? I think I did a video on that a while back. You know, the majority of people, that says a lot about this country. The majority of the people sitting in prison are waiting for their trial. They haven't even had a trial. And many of them have been in there for years and they have never had their trial. So when they said you're entitled to a speedy trial, that can be debunked real easy, especially when you find out people have been in there for years and years and never, ever went to trial. That is actually the norm in America. That's the norm. Many simply because they cannot afford bail. That's really the majority that can't get out. People in the US prisons are also disproportionately Black, which is by design. The same people that they enslaved are the same ones that are in prison the most. Yeah, it don't take a rocket scientist to figure this one out. Due to widespread power outages, there was a risk that many vials of COVID-19 vaccine, which must be kept in sub-zero freezers, would go bad. All right. And Harris County is far from the only prison or jail system to fail its incarcerated population amid the storm. The Texas jail project was relayed. You know, it had reports that several other counties had no access to running water. So, yeah, so you can see the sheriff's office is saying one thing, the inmates are telling you something entirely different. And in this case, I believe the inmates. People in state prisons are also reporting that inadequate food and overworked prison staff. The snowstorm, according to the Marshall Projects, hundreds of women incarcerated in federal medical prison in Fort Worth were also left freezing without heat during the storm. So the female inmates are going through it too. But remember, the sheriffs in Texas said they're feeding these people and there's heat and the lights are on. The inmates are saying the total opposite. The storm has really brought some issues they have in the prison system, said Tracy Williams, a policy director at Texas Inmate Families Association, which represents families with loved ones in Texas prisons. He said his organization has been getting emails about imprisoned losing power and spending days without heat. It speaks to some in much need change. Meanwhile, freezing temperatures are set to continue in Texas in the coming days. Yes, it will. Like I said, you know, here we've been going through it since around the 4th of the month. And we are officially going to be out of it on Monday. But when we're out of it, the rest of the country is going to be continuing on, you know, in these freezing cold temperatures. So, wow. You know, I think we often do forget about the inmates and everything they're going through. They don't care about these folks. They really don't. They will look at this and tell you they're criminals and deserve to be there. No, one thing we did learn from the US Capitol insurrection, many of those people deserve to be in these conditions. They deserve it. But y'all, please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.